Alright then, the first TEW, AEW Dynamite and Rampage are in the books tonight. We follow up on that good work. Tonight, who walks out? TNT Champion. Welcome everyone to AEW 2022, the modern day AEW save, right here on TEW 2020. We're flying away now with our second lot of weekly shows. Thank you so much for all the support in the first two videos. Really impressive. Really means a lot. It says to me, you guys want this and liking it. That means I want it and I'm liking it too. So we carry on and we go again. TNT Championship on the line in the main event tonight. It's going to be a big week. Who walks out? Champion Keith Lee or Sammy Guevara? Before we find out, make sure you dropped a like on this video already. Subscribe to the channel so you do not miss a thing. And let's go. Limitless or the Spanish God? Alright, Dynamite then. On the pre-show, we kick off with the Gun Club getting a win in six-man action against the Dark Order. Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alan Engels, that is, from the Dark Order. About 10 minutes they got. This is pretty good for a 42. Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Alan Engels bring it down. 23, 24, 33. But the rest all around the mid-40s. Mark, Billy Gunn, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno really putting in some decent performances despite Billy Gunn off his game. Yeah, not bad for a pre-show. I know I can probably stick Stu Grayson and Evil Uno in a tag match against a top tag team and get a decent match. That's what I'm trying to get from this. I quite like it. Second pre-show match then, and Jake Hager gets a win over Joey Janela in 10 minutes with a Patriot lock. 45 for this one. Jake Hager 47, Joey Janela 34. Still a babyface, Jake Hager. We're not doing the Jericho Appreciation Society. At least not yet. Maybe we will down the line, but yeah, we're doing different from that. Yeah, good win for Jake Hager, 45. Solid. We can do that in the mid-card and have no problem, so solid. Let's kick off then the main show of AEW as I get my notes up to make sure I'm doing it correctly. And we're going to kick off with in-ring competition. It's six-man tag. It's CM Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin against... well, it was supposed to be Andrade and Private Party, but Andrade has subbed himself out, meaning Matt Hardy has to take the reins. Opening contest gets us a 69. Okay, so Private Party really bring this down, which is why a Punk match with Sting involved is only a 69. Punk put in 78, Sting 72, Darby Allin 66. Matt Hardy 56 is okay. And again, yeah, Private Party need a bit of work. I feel like, to be honest with you, in AEW, there was a big hub around them for a while, and now they've since turning heel, and yeah, it's been a bit hit and miss for Private Party. But the Hardy family office then against the three big baby faces, and a win for the three big baby faces, no surprise there. 15 minutes 40 seconds. Darby Allin pins Matt Hardy with a coffin drop. The right guy to go over in this particular moment. You've got Punk and you've got Sting giving you the rub and the star power, but then you put the attention on the guy that really can carry the company, and that's a guy like Darby Allin. So yeah, that's the idea here. Just a way to get all these guys in a good match and to further some problems potentially in the AHFO. Obviously they've done the split in real life with Jeff Hardy coming back. We'll see if we do similar or where we go. Jeff Hardy will be available soon, but not quite in game. So yeah, Matt Hardy having a bit of issues with Andrade, and we continue that with the post-match segment. Yeah, Andrade very disappointed in Matt Hardy and with the loss for a 46. Not great from Matt Hardy then, according to Andrade. Okay, we'll go to a man who made his return last week, Miro. Miro cuts a promo, so to speak. It's a backstage video package in a way where he explains exactly why he's back and what he's aiming for. Miro and CJ Perry part of it. Miro says he always believed he was God's favourite champion. But then came the losses. Then came the doubt. The doubt. Because now he's realised. His time away has made him realise that God, the concept of God, is about belief. And there is one person who has always believed in Miro. Miro says now it's time to repay that belief, to return the favour, to stand by, because in CJ we trust. Miro explaining it very, very clearly as why he's back, mentioning Hangman kind of, but the idea here is he's revitalised with CJ Perry by his side, and we end the video package with CJ Perry entering the room, turning to Miro, putting the fist out and going, Miro, crush. That's right. Just a little callback to the Rusev-Lana partnership in the WWE, where he made his name in a way. We're just going to go back to it in a way, but what we're doing is taking bits of it that worked, taking bits of the Miro that worked in AEW, meshing them together and pushing them into the main event scene. 71, really good segment, so good start to the storyline, really. Really good return last week. Good segment here. So that's pretty good. Right, back to in-ring action then. Ruby Soho took on Mercedes Martinez for a 47. Didn't click. They didn't have any chemistry, which is a shame. Mercedes is actually a heel still in this database, so I'm going to use her as a heel going forward. But Ruby Soho does get the win in 12 minutes with the Heidi Ho. Yeah, 43 for Ruby, 41 for Mercedes, 47, so it did get a booster still, but they didn't click. I'm assuming it got a boost. Yeah, hot crowd. It's a shame about the chemistry, but now we know we won't sit these guys together, and that's absolutely fine. But an impressive win for Ruby Soho, who afterwards, she gets on the mic to tell Rosa Mendes that, Rosa Mendes, that's the wrong Rosa. That is definitely the wrong Rosa. Thunder Rosa is what I meant. The new, of course, the new women's champion. Ruby says she will be next in line, but before she can get any further, she's beaten down by the incoming Rebel, Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. Yeah. You want to be a number one contender, Ruby? You're going to have to go through the former champ. 46 is pretty fine for this. And yeah, I really like the feud with Britt and Ruby when she came in, and I think there's more you can go with it. So yeah, getting Ruby involved in the world title feud, that is the idea. Okay, backstage, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Jay Lethal and Serena Deeb are talking business. Only a 53 for this, but you've got Lethal and Deeb involved. You've also mentioned a few other people that will bring this down, which we'll get to. Basically what happens here, they're discussing where they go going forward. Danielson tells Jay Lethal, listen, don't worry about Pac. I'm going to take care of Pac this Friday on Rampage. That's right, it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Pac on Rampage. And on Dynamite next week. Rampage? Dynamite? When did I book it? It was Dynamite. Because on Rampage this week, got it mixed up. Moxley says he's got an offer. An offer for a tag team that impress him. And he tells the Varsity Blondes that they're teaming together on Rampage. Moxley and the Varsity Blondes in a 6-man tag on Rampage. So we'll see where we get with that. Serena Deeb then tells Hikaru Shida that she will regret not taking the offer. So we're just hitting some of the points that's going on surrounding this feud, surrounding this stable. Yeah, setting up some big stuff. I mean, my phone's very, very interested, as you can see. So I am hopefully going to get better segments going forward, but we did mention the Varsity Blonde, so it's kind of what we expected in a lot of ways. Okay, the House of Black get a win over the Seidel brothers for a 53. Another win for House of Black, similar to last week on Dynamite, where they're looking dominant again. This time, interference from Buddy Matthews did the job. We're going to say sort of a distraction from Matt Seidel, and Brody King gets the pin, which will help him big time. He put in a 40. Malachi carried it with a 61, 31 for Mike, and 45 for Matt Seidel. Buddy Matthews officially making his debut in the game, but yeah, we know he's part of this group now. So yeah, House of Black, tag team. We'll see where that goes going forward. Backstage, talking of tag teams, the Young Bucks tell Adam Cole they won't be working with Red Dragon anymore. Indeed, they do. They say, look, we can't. Adam, we can't. I know they're your friends, and I'm not standing in the way of that, but we're friends, and I owe you this out of the respect I've got for you. We refuse to ever work with Red Dragon again. The Young Bucks drawing a line, really. Yeah, not great for Adam Cole because he kind of wants all his friends on side, right? Right, back to women's action. The women's champion Thunder Rosa was in action against Emi Sakura for a 50. This is really good considering Emi put in a 22, but Thunder Rosa put in a 58. So to get a 50, impressive indeed. Only about 8 minutes. La Rosa did the business for Thunder Rosa. Get it right this time. Yeah, this is really good. Really, really good. Just a win to put the champ over ahead of next week then when she faces Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the Women's Championship. Good stuff. Good stuff. Post-match, well, Baker and Co decide to try and attack Thunder Rosa again, but out comes Hikaru Shida. That's right, Hikaru Shida inserting herself into the title picture, it may seem, to save Thunder Rosa from the attack. Fights off Rebel, fights off Jamie Hayter. Britt Baker had already made the escape, not wanting to get involved too much ahead of the title match next week. So we inserted Ruby Soho earlier. We've now inserted Hikaru Shida. So maybe there's a bit of a women's division going on here. I know. Hey, Pac backstage then cutting a promo in response to Bryan Danielson. He accepts the challenge for next week on Dynamite, and he tells Bryan Danielson quite simply that he's made a very, very big mistake. Big mistake, says Pac. Let's see, 64. We'll find out next week on that one. In-ring contest then. Ricky Starks got a win over Orange Cassidy for a 66. I had time for another match. We stuck this one in there. And Ricky Starks is a guy that I really do think has a potential future in this save. He's not been talked about enough in real life for me. I think he's a guy that can be a top heel in this company if we can get behind him. He's putting a 48 there, pretty good in performance from him. 65 for Orange Cassidy, and Ricky Starks getting a pretty big win, potentially the biggest win of his career over Orange Cassidy, using a foreign object because he's a heel, but a huge win over Orange Cassidy, who's got the popularity that, quite frankly, I plan to use. 66, very good stuff. Is that match of the night? It might just be, so well done these two. Let's see if it stays match of the night though, because it will be TNT Championship time in just a moment. Just before that, Sammy Guevara backstage tells Chris Jericho, look, I get it. You want to make sure the inner circle stick together, but tonight is about the TNT Championship. Tonight is about Sammy Guevara stepping up. So Chris, I got to do this on my own. Chris Jericho, as you can imagine, isn't probably pleased with it. Sammy Guevara then versus Keith Lee for the TNT Championship. Keith Lee won this shot by winning the Face of the Revolution ladder match. So this is his moment, this opportunity. And will he get the job done? It's Guevara versus Keith Lee. Your winner. And still AEW TNT champion Sammy Guevara. That's right, the champion retains. Keith Lee doesn't keep the championship. We'll get to the finish in just a second. I said just a second, phone. We'll get to the finish in just a second because I'm sure you're excited about it. But yeah, the performances are pretty good. Guevara's actually off his game a little, but his performances are slowly getting better. He's really rated down on this for some reason, but a win over someone like Keith Lee is massive for him. 63 for the main event. I was kind of hoping for a little better, but it's about what I expected at the same time. The 6:30 got the win then for Sammy Guevara after interference from Lance Archer, who attacks Keith Lee when the referee was checking on Sammy Guevara. Right, Sammy Guevara didn't see it, the referee didn't see it. Lance Archer and Jake Roberts definitely did see it. They attack Keith Lee. Why? Well, we'll get to that soon. Sammy Guevara successfully defends the title then. And yeah, that's a good way to end the show. Let's see what we get here for Dynamite. We get a 67. Okay, that feels like quite a decent little show for us, actually. I can't remember what we got last week. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Solid across the board. And considering we haven't really got some of our big guys wrestling, so I mean, we got Punk and Sting in the opener, which helped that one. Yeah, pretty good. That was match of the night as well. So potentially could have been the main event, potentially. But look, we've got the women's division buzzing now. Ricky Starks getting a big win. House of Black getting a win with the tag team titles potentially in their future, Sammy Guevara retaining the TNT title. Good stuff. Let's get on to Rampage then. It will be Moxley and the Varsity Blondes teaming together. We also know we're going to get Eddie Kingston versus Shawn Spears. So let's not waste any time. Rampage. Okay, it's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for AEW Rampage, coming to you from the First Bank Center. We're in the Mid-South area, and pre-show sees the Nightmare Family, Dustin Rhodes teaming with Brock Anderson this time, of course, the son of Arn Anderson, to get a win over the Wingmen, Cesar Bononi and Ryan Nemeth for 38. Yeah, fine. Brock really brings it down with the 17, but Dustin carries it with the 49, 23 from Nemeth, 26 from Bononi. Just trying to get everyone on the game so far, see how they're doing. I want to see what Brock was like. 17 is a bit low, but you know, we don't have dark, we don't have elevation, so we will have to use these dark matches to build people up. So Brock Anderson gets the win as well, makes Cesar Bononi tap. So hopefully that'll help him in the Mid-South area. 38 for that. And then we go to, well, it's time to send Hook. Hook gets a win over Colt Cabana for 45. Yeah, good performance here. Hook 40, Colt Cabana 43. Really good stuff from both men. This could work on a Rampage or a Dynamite, which is good. Hook potentially could be used on these shows, which I was worried he wouldn't be. So I tried to see him in a dark match. But yeah, Hook gets a win over Colt Cabana. He is a heel, technically. He's a kind of cool heel / face in real life, but he's going to be a heel with the Team Taz group going forward. But look, he's got this charisma and there's a potential to him. We're going to try and keep the same charismatic character, and there's a potential to him eventually turning face, but we got to build to it first. And yeah, good stuff. 45. Let's get on to the main show. Then we open up with Eddie Kingston taking on Shawn Spears for a 64. Good match. Eddie Kingston carries it with a 64. Shawn Spears only a 44, but he's been carried by Eddie, so it's fine. 64 for this. Really good stuff. And a win for Eddie Kingston in 13 minutes or so with a blackout lariat after a distraction from Wardlow. Now, Wardlow's not a baby face for anyone who's wondering. Still a heel with the group. But the idea here was Shawn Spears wanted Wardlow to help him against Eddie Kingston. Now, Wardlow isn't employed by Shawn Spears. Wardlow is employed by MJF. So Wardlow doesn't help Shawn Spears, refuses to help Shawn Spears, and that distraction allows Eddie Kingston to hit the blackout lariat and the win for 64. Post-match, though, MJF runs down with the rest of the Pinnacle. Of course, that is, FTR, and they, well, start to beat down Eddie Kingston. MJF turns to Wardlow and says, "Your turn," because, like I just said, Wardlow employed by MJF, not Shawn Spears. So Wardlow does help the beatdown of Eddie Kingston. Showing face tendencies, we're not going to pull the trigger on the turn yet. It's too soon for me in game. I want to build to it. So yeah, 64, absolutely fine. 60 for the post-match beatdown. Good start to Rampage. Really good start to Rampage for these guys. But the rest of the show, we're a bit more experimental. So this might be as good as it gets. Let's see how we go. Backstage then, Jon Moxley is with the Varsity Blondes for only a 42. Right, that's not a good sign for the main event. They're talking about the main event where they'll be facing Matt Lee, Tony Nese and Daniel Garcia in a 6-man action. And they thank Jon Moxley for the opportunity. And Mox tells them, listen, good performance. Could be the start for you guys. Jon Moxley making it clear that this is almost a tryout match for the Varsity Blondes. Let's see how they get on. Griff Garrison really brought it down. Great. Well, look, we've got to try and build these guys. We expect a bit of a problem at the start, so let's see how it goes. Julia Hart helped, though. Good stuff. Okay, Brian Cage had a self-promotion promo for 34. Not great from Brian Cage. Just trying to put himself over. We won't do that again. We will not do that again. Let's go to women's action. Layla Hirsch defeats Sky Blue for 24. Okay, look, once you take the top 5 women's wrestlers, 4 women's wrestlers out of the picture, you are struggling. So we need to try and get behind some guys. Layla Hirsch is one woman I think we can try and get behind for a future push. 35 from her, 23 from Sky Blue. I gave them some time as well. Look, they haven't had a terrible match, but they haven't had a good match either, and the crowd didn't like it because they're seen as pre-show workers. In real life, it wouldn't happen, but AEW fans are one of a kind and the game can't predict it. So I understand it is what it is. Afterwards, Layla Hirsch, of course, Well, I was meant to say she wins by submission, but she locks in her submission after the match then and refuses to let go for a 19. It doesn't matter. This is the turn. We're turning Layla Hirsch heel. She's heel in real life. They did turn her in between the database errors. So we're going to turn her here. It was a complete success. Yeah. New heel to get behind in the women's division, Layla Hirsch. I'm pretty sure it'll be a good decision. To ignore these. It's going to bring the show rating down, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Backstage, Andrade is stirring trouble for the AHFO. Andrade talking about Matt Hardy to Private Party and doubting whether he's good enough to lead them, whether he's the right man for Private Party to strap the horse to, let's say. Well, the problems for AHFO start here. 48 is absolutely fine. Jade Cargill cuts a promo on Anna Jay for a 37. Again, people who need to try and get behind and push further. Jade Cargill's one of those. Yeah, she calls Anna Jay a country trash bitch. And now Anna Jay is going to get hers. Anna Jay, well, the target now is Jade Cargill wants revenge. Right, let's see what this main event does then. It's Moxley teaming with the Varsity Blondes against Daniel Garcia, Tony Nese, and Matt Lee of 2.0. Let's see how it goes. Okay, 63 then. That's not terrible. I was hoping for that. I was hoping the other stuff would do better. It hasn't. Moxley an 80. Really, really good stuff from him. Griff Garrison 30. 38 from Brian Pillman Jr. So these two, look, there's potential to Brian Pillman Jr. to me. That's what I'm really, really interested in. And maybe patching Varsity Blondes to Moxley wouldn't be a bad thing going forward. I don't know. We'll see on that one. I haven't quite decided. I want to see how this goes. It's not gone terribly, but it also hasn't gone great either. So Matt Lee 42, Daniel Garcia 45, Tony Nese 40. Good stuff for the main event. Gives us a 52 rated Rampage. We can do better than that, but the game's been harsh on us because of the women, and I mean Brian Cage let us down a little bit as well, but yeah, we tried some stuff.